Hi there, it's David and Steen back here at Loaded 4x4 HQ. And Steen, we have something that's near and dear to my heart, and that is a Milford cargo barrier.
That's right. They're synonymous for these cargo barriers, a bit like Toyota and Land Cruiser.
I think it was one of the very earliest products they made, and it's amazing that, I think I can remember them going back to the mid-80s. They're still with us today, still doing great service. So
Absolutely.
Tell us about this kit that you can buy, because not only can you order them at the dealership when you're buying your brand new car and get them fitted
You
right
can also
there and
order
then.
them online from Milford Direct at milford.one.
And do it as a DIY.
Absolutely. So a bit of a tough DIY, I think, having a look through the instructions. So you want to be good on the tools.
Yeah.
But you can do it.
Yeah.
So and this is what you get in the box that gets sent out to you, which is obviously the cargo barrier.
Yep.
And we should talk about some of the features of this barrier while you've got it up.
Yeah.
So it's a tubular steel construction.
Yep.
Obviously it's got a wire mesh on it, quite a strong wire mesh. That's hand welded. We know this because we visited the factory. Each one of these is hand welded.
Now, why is that? Why isn't it machine
Because
made?
a robot doesn't exist that can deal with the variances in the gaps.
So it's nice to know we humans
gotta-
still have a
gotta be
place in
person
the world.
doing it. Yeah, absolutely.
Good.
Super strong. It's covered in their Armor-Tex coating.
Which is a polyester-free zone.
Don't bring the blouse thing into it, David, please.
And what's this gizmo?
That's what they call them, life hammers, don't they?
Yeah.
So basically for breaking glass.
Yeah.
So if you are unfortunately in a rollover
Yeah.
and you're trapped, you can smack the window with that sharp point there,
So
rather than trying to bust it with your fist.
the viewers might want to know that there's a really sharp point on the steel end there, and you hit that on a toughened glass window and it just explodes in a million
absolutely.
bits.
Yep, and you can crawl out the window.
Yeah.
Ashtray.
No, I think that's to allow the fitment of seatbelts and the like to go
Oh,
through.
okay,
So
fair enough.
Fitment for baby capsules.
I was thinking about
and
the
the like.
HK Holden days. It just sort of looked like.
I never smoked, so that joke was lost
There
on
you go,
me.
neither have I.
Yeah. And also
That's right.
too, for the DIYer, I see there's a template for fitting as well.
Yep.
So that's got to be a handy thing, and also too a parcel of instructions.
Yes, and
Yeah,
there's
I
also
like it.
if we put this down,
Yeah,
there's
let's do
also more instructions down here that come in the box. So you've got a full suite of instructions there.
Yeah.
And
And correct me if I'm wrong, but Milford also cover a lot of this on video instructions as well.
You're not wrong, so I can't correct you on that, my mate.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. So we got that.
They do that,
100%
and
right.
that's a fantastic way. So you can get your iPad out or your phone
Yep.
as you're installing and flick through,
Yep.
watch the videos and get some good tips.
And the bag of hardware. What's in
Okay,
there?
well there's all sorts of gear in here, but there's a couple of interesting things that we'll cover. So these are the straps, for a technical term, it would be a strap, wouldn't it?
Yep.
That you use to bolt the cargo barrier into place. So, part of one end of this will go onto the vehicle,
Yep.
and one end onto the cargo.
And you can see here on the barrier that there are reveals in here that take the locating straps.
which will be these that we'll talk about in a second,
Yep.
with a nice bush in it.
Yep.
But this is a patented Milford design, and it's designed to take load in an accident. So
Right.
if you have a rollover, have to brake suddenly and a toolbox hits the back of your cargo barrier, instead of pushing that force into the walls of your vehicle,
Yep.
this absorbs it.
So energy absorption, a
Yep.
lot like the chassis rails on the front of just about any modern vehicle today. They've got a crumple zone, so it's designed to constantly
That's exactly what it is. It's a crumple zone.
Yep.
And that works in combination with this strap, or the strap locator, I guess, that goes through there and wraps around the bar.
Now,
and that's got a plastic bush in there.
Yeah, Steen, this is really important
Yeah.
because the last thing you want in a four-wheel drive going down a corrugated road is rattle, rattle, rattle. So how are we going to prevent that here?
Well, avoiding metal on metal contact.
Correct.
So that bush that sits in, that's it there, sits in there and wraps around the square tube
Yep.
and prevents rattles.
Okay.
It also gives you flexibility
Yep.
in fitting, so it moves.
Yep.
So if your vehicle, and the vehicles aren't identical, so off side to side, especially if it's a Land Rover or something like that,
Yep.
it's completely different.
Yep.
And this gives you a bit of movement rather than just one strap going in.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I also remember too that Milford provided a bit of flexibility with the installation points, and quite often there were 2 points that you could hook up to. So you could have either a sort of a semi-laid down version for getting more cargo in, or a more
Yep.
upright
Yep.
version. So lots of thought's gone into the installation. They've got these brilliant plates, these threaded plates that are bolted into position, and this knurled nut does the securing of the barrier to the floor or the wall of the vehicle. So that's good. So we've got the installation covered, but what do they look like after an impact? Because I think that's a fairly telling moment.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
let's-
And this is the big thing with
lift
Milford.
this
They
out the way.
actually test these. And we've seen it happen, and this is the result.
Yeah.
So I wasn't there for this. How did it happen?
Well, The Milford factory has a big testing
Yep.
area. We've seen that. And what they've got is a drop test. So they've got this big apparatus where they drop a 200 kilo load from a great height and it lands thump on one of these things so they can test the results.
So this is strapped in as it would be strapped into a vehicle?
Yep. So it simulates a situation where somebody's hit the brakes big time or
Yep.
been shunted from behind,
Yep.
the loads move forward, club at the cargo barrier and thankfully save the passengers in the forward space.
Testing. 3, 2, 1.
And you think about what we've got going on here. Have a look at the deformation in that barrier. It has copped a big old wallop, yet
And
the
there's-
integrity of
There's
the
a limit
barrier is
that Milford will accept in that deformation. So if it deforms too much, it's back to the drawing board.
right.
Yep.
And get the slide rule out and try and work it out a bit more. Now, I've got some anecdotal evidence of how good these things are because I've had these in a number of my vehicles, and the last one, sadly, that was put to the test was my old Defender. So
The story.
I sold that on to a young lad, and on his first trip up to Queensland, he rolled the car. But from the pictures I saw, I can attest to the fact that the cargo barrier kept the roof structure pretty much in place and probably saved his life. Without it, he might not have been here. Granted, I can't validate those results. I
and,
can't quantify
and
it.
Milford don't test for that, so it's all anecdotal.
Yeah, so that's just David.
But I've
speaking.
heard of it working as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's reassuring to know that this has got a benefit beyond just trapping an unsecured load.
Yep.
Now, there's something else that I think we should mention, that in recent years there's been this trend to putting drawers in the back of four-wheel drive
Yes.
wagons, which is a clever thing.
Yep.
You know, you get stuff secured in a box, but it still leaves a lot of stuff up above the box that's unsecured. And that's where I think the Milford cargo
Well, that's more
barrier has still
important
got
than
a
ever
place.
because if you're stacking the back of your wagon and you don't have drawers in there and you do have an accident, everything's going to go into the back of the seat.
Yep.
But if you put drawers in, you're actually raising
Yep.
the
And
objects you're putting on top of the drawers, and they're going to get you in the back of the head,
Yeah. Yeah.
possibly. So,
And that's no good at all.
Yep.
And you'll like this other benefit, this
Yep.
side benefit that I've got coming up, Steen, particularly you as a father of a young son,
Okay.
is that if young Deacon is giving you too much curry, you can put him in the back of the wagon, close him up in the cage.
time
and-
to it.
Correct.
Couple of hockey
and he'll never
straps.
come out of there. He might complain and yell and scream a lot. But at least we know he's secure. Don't do that at home. Don't do
hasn't been
at home.
tested either.
No. So there you go. The Milford cargo barrier, an exceptional product. It's been around for a long, long time, and it's deserving of a place in your four-wheel drive wagon. And if you look it up on the net, go to www.milford.one.
.one. That's
Yep,
it.
there it is.